Hey everyone, today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to step into the mind of a cybersecurity expert. We'll break down two of the most fundamental concepts they use to protect, well, pretty much everything in our digital lives: attack surfaces and attack trees.
And right off the bat, this quote really sets the stage, doesn't it? It makes it super clear that we're not just talking about keeping your social media account safe. We're talking about the very foundation of national security, public safety, and our economy. The stakes? They literally couldn't be higher.
So, before you can even think about defending something, you have to understand the sheer scale of the battlefield. Let's take a quick look at what we're actually trying to protect here.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Our banking, our healthcare system, education, even how our governments function, it all runs on this massive digital backbone. And that deep, deep dependency is exactly why securing it has become such a compelling, top-tier national priority.
Okay, so how in the world do you start to protect something so huge and complex? Well, you start by thinking like a defender of an ancient castle. You have to walk the entire perimeter and map out every single door, every window, every little crack in the wall, every possible way an intruder could even think about getting in. That's the whole idea behind mapping your attack surface.
And here's the more official definition. Your attack surface is basically the grand total of all your potential weak spots. It's the sum of every single vulnerability that an attacker can actually get to and try to take advantage of. And we can break this down into three main categories. First up, you've got the network attack surface. Think of things like open ports on a server or weak Wi-Fi protocols. Then there's the software attack surface, which covers bugs or flaws in the actual code of your apps and websites. And finally, there's the human attack surface. And let me tell you, this one is huge. It covers everything from a simple mistake to sophisticated social engineering. Where an attacker tricks someone into just handing over their password. So the takeaway here is really simple, but it's incredibly powerful. If a weakness exists and an attacker can find a path to it, it's officially on your map. The number one job for any defender is to first understand this entire landscape and then to work relentlessly to make it as small as they possibly can. All right, so you've mapped out all your weak points. Now what? Well, now it's time to put on a totally different hat. You have to stop thinking like a defender and start thinking like an attacker. How would somebody actually use one of these weak spots against you? Let's make this really personal for a second. Think about your own online bank account. How many different ways could a criminal try to get into it? This is exactly the kind of question security analysts wrestle with every day, and they've got a really cool structured way to figure it out. And their secret weapon for this is called an attack tree. It's an awesome tool. You put the attacker's main goal at the very top, the root of the tree, like get into the bank account. And then you start branching out, mapping every single possible path they could take there. It's like creating a roadmap of malice. So let's build a super simple one right now. The goal, the root of our tree, is crystal clear. Compromise the user's bank account. Everything else we do is going to branch off from this one objective. Now we start adding the main branches. Okay, so path A could be targeting the user directly, maybe with a phishing email that tricks them into giving up their password. Or they could try path B, target the connection itself, like spying on data over an unsecured public Wi-Fi. Then there's path C, where they go straight for the bank's server, with something like a brute force attack, which is just a program that tries millions of password combinations automatically. You see, each of these branches represents a whole category of potential attacks. And that is the real magic of this method. An attack tree forces a defender to think systematically, to get creative, and to uncover attack paths they might have completely missed otherwise. It takes security out of the realm of guesswork and turns it into a structured, repeatable process. So, we've mapped the what with our attack surface, we've brainstormed the how with our attack tree. Now for the big question. How does all of this come together into a real actionable defense strategy? This chart lays out the endgame perfectly. To get to a state of low security risk, you really need two things: a small attack surface, which we've already talked about, and deep, layered defenses. High risk is what happens when you have a massive attack surface protected by just one single shallow layer of defense. And this whole strategy is called defense in depth. The core idea is that you never, ever rely on just one thing. It's like a castle with multiple walls. You build layers. You assume that any single layer might fail, so you make sure there's another one right behind it and another one behind that. It's all about creating as many barriers as possible for an attacker to break through. Now, this isn't some brand new idea. It's been a cornerstone of security for decades. But these layers go way beyond just technology. Think about it. A company might have a firewall, sure, that's one layer, but they also enforce two-factor authentication for logins. That's a people layer. Then they might have a process layer, like mandatory security training to help employees spot those phishing attacks. And behind all that, maybe they have encryption on their data. Each and every layer is designed to block or at least slow down one of those paths on your attack tree. The ultimate goal? Make an attack so difficult, so expensive, and so time-consuming that the bad guys just give up and go somewhere else.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the basic tools to think like a security professional. So take a good look at your own digital life. Now that you know how to think like an attacker, what do you think is the weakest link on your personal attack surface?